Hey everybody, Colin here from Best in Tabletop. I'm the creative director. If you guys haven't heard from me before, I wanted to pop in and give just a quick state of the network update. I mentioned before that this is kind of an adventure for myself and my friends who are very excited about doing this, but it's also an adventure for all of you. Some of you have been listening to us create podcasts for like 4 years now. And some of you have been donating to Charity Hammer and saying hi to us at tournaments. And we have a community that's built around BiffPod that we are now building Best in Tabletop with. So it's been really fun, but I did promise that you all are part of this journey with us. So I know that you guys want to be kept informed. So I thought I would do that and just kind of pop in and give you an update on how things are going. We've been doing it for about 2 months now. We're past about 1,200, almost to 1,300 subscribers on YouTube. That's great. 1,000 subscribers was needed for us to get full partner rights. There's additional things that happen. So if you haven't subscribed yet, it helps us. Even if you subscribe and don't watch any videos, the subscriber number helps. Also, I'd like to go to GW and say, will you send us preview stuff so we can cover it like everybody else? Next up, we have just about 3,000 to 4,000 people listening to each podcast that goes out. Thank you to those 3,000 to 4,000 people. Those are great numbers. That's our average now. Whereas that was a hot BiffPod episode before. So we absolutely are reaching a new audience that we weren't necessarily reaching before. So that's great, especially for me, who knows that I am not everybody's cup of tea and appreciates that there are other shows for people that don't want to listen to so much Colin. There's other shows that people can go on, that people can listen to. I love that. Another metric that I'm looking at that's kind of fun, I have several friends that I think would actually be happier, more productive, would be a better contributor to the world if they were full-time employed by Best in Tabletop. So I have a goal of employing a particular set of people full-time to build this thing as the economics can afford that. And to take some friends from their job, many people don't like their job, but to take my friends from their job and put them into this full-time nerd job that everybody's so excited about. So I just thought I'd let you guys know. Right now we have 2 people and they're doing about 30 hours between the 2 of them of paid work each week. Kind of a fun metric to think about because that's 2 people whose families we're supporting through all of this content that we're making. It's families that we're supporting, it's models that can be bought, it's trips that can be taken. I've been in the business world a long time, and one of the most fun things is hiring people because you get to take the thing that you're excited about and not only help somebody else be excited about it, but you also get to financially reward them, which is pretty darn fun. So, show-wise, we've really settled into an agenda. And I'm not going to cover what every show is because I've done that a bunch, but just to cover the agenda, Tuesday nights is 40K Fight Club. We're going to talk about more about their format in just a second. But Tuesday nights, 40K Fight Club usually goes out on the podcast stream on Wednesdays. Every other Thursday is when 40K Frontiers is supposed to come out. At least once or twice a week, there's going to be a Chasing the Narrative. We'll talk more about that. At least once or twice a week, there's going to be battle reports. We're going to talk about those. We're going to start getting the lore show up pretty quick here. BiffPod is every other Sunday live and then released as a podcast thereafter. BiffPod TNG is every Saturday morning, and the podcast usually goes out on Monday. Excuse me. Outward Realms podcast goes out every other Monday. That's been getting a really steady increase. If you want to listen to that, it's actually in the Best in Tabletop Expanded feed, which is where we're going to put Marvel Crisis Protocol content and Outward Realms content and Dungeons and Dragons content as the network grows. So that's all the shows. And we're generating 30 hours of content a week or something completely insane. But that's all the shows. And the idea is that there's something for everybody. But I wanted to talk about, I went on Fight Club last week and I announced that we were going to make a change to the format of Fight Club. We didn't talk about it enough. We didn't think it through enough. We put out the message. A bunch of people were confused. And I want to clear that up right now. So first of all, there's a key to when you have to do a big thing, you need to do that big thing well. And your guys' money and our request for you to support us, there is no topic that is more important. For one, we have a great deal of respect for the fact that you guys work hard for your money, and we don't want to ask you for money that we don't think is reasonable or fair. For two, though, We want to make sure that we are being completely respectful and communicative of the way this thing is going to grow, right? I want to make the Paramount, not the Paramount, that's the wrong phrase. I want to release the main tabletop gaming network you think of for Dungeons and Dragons, for Marvel, for D&D, for maybe Magic, I don't know. I want to be the place that you guys think about for all of these games. And I want it to be a place that's positive and warm and happy and exciting and optimistic and funny and informative and helpful. And we can do that all together. So here's how you help. There's two ways you can support us. And only two, well, there's two financial ways you could support us right now. There will be more ways in the future, like merchandise and things like that. If you don't want to spend money, subscribe, tweet, Facebook chat, message your friends, let everybody know what we're doing. That's the best thing you can do. If you want to support us financially, you have two options. The option we've had forever is our Patreon group. Do not be confused. The only thing our Patreon group is tied to, the only thing it's tied to is our Discord. We have a Discord community of 200 or so people. They're there all the time. They're talking about video games and MCP and books and pets and parenting, and also just a crap ton of 40K conversation. Like the rumors and news channel is like 300, 400 messages a day. Just a lot of conversation going on in there. And we're going to keep that going, and we're going to keep it as a Patreon thing. And it is $10 a month if you want to be in our Discord. If you don't think that's worth it, don't do it. If you join it and after a month you think it's not worth it, cancel. There's no commitment. If you want to come in and you want to talk to the Fight Club guys or the Frontiers guys or the BiffPod TNG guys, they're all in there. They're all active. You can come. You can be part of the community that's building this. Best in Tabletop, the entire staff, which is like 30 people, are all in that Discord. So if you're excited about what we're doing and you want to feel like you're part of the community, that's a great way to do it. But if you don't think it's worth the $10, don't pay the $10. That's how we are about this, okay? The other way you can support us is by becoming a YouTube member. YouTube membership and Patreon membership are separate from each other. I'm sorry. They'll be the same thing at some point in the far distant future. For right now, I'm sorry. There's a bunch of reasons why they have to be different. None of those reasons are going to be interesting to you guys. They have to be different for right now, and they just are. They will not be different forever, but they're going to be different for at least the next 6 months to a year. YouTube membership gets you three things right now, but we're going to do the Amazon Prime method of this, which is we're going to keep making things and putting them in there so that it becomes a better and better and better ROI for you, so we get more and more and more people. I want to get as many people as I can on there for $10 a month. That's how much the YouTube membership is, $10 a month. I want to get as many people on there as I can so that I can make as much content that you guys want to see as I can. That's the formula. The YouTube is where we're going to scale to these producers working full time. That's how we're going to do it. So I know that it's me asking you for money in two different places. I get that. And I'm respectful of that. If you don't think either of them are worth your time, don't do it. If you want to tell me, Colin, I'm a huge fan. I've listened forever. I don't think either is a good use of my money. Totally fine. I love that you listen. Thank you for supporting us. Tell your friends that we're great. It's fine. So here's what you get for $10 a month in YouTube. The first thing is I'm doing a show a couple times a week called Chasing the Narrative. Chasing the Narrative is my favorite thing in the world, which is meeting people and getting to know them. And so I take someone from the meta, Adam Abramowitz, Michael Timpey, Tyler Bortel, Anthony Vanilla. I take those people, okay, and I bring them in and I don't talk about 40K. I learn about why they play 40K or why it's so important to them competitively, but I learn about their lives and I learn about the weird things that they know, and I find weird topics that they want to talk about. And then after that's done, we take a break and then I record something that's often silly. I made Adam Abramowitz justify golf to me. Michael Timpey told us stories about people getting terrified or potentially hurt or potentially haunted as a projectionist. Anthony talked about MMA. Tyler explained quantum mechanics to me and explained NFTs and all of those topics that are kind of the offbeat weird things. Like we'll have the Mad Dog Seth come on and talk about birds. But all of that is in part 2 of Chasing the Narrative. Part 2 of every episode will be in the YouTube members only area. So the idea there is, if you want the show, if you want the show of me interviewing people, you can have it. But if you want the part where we get silly and I find a random topic to talk to them about, that's in the members area. Now, the second thing you're going to get is we're creating battle reports. And this is something that I actually have an ask on. We've made like 6 so far. And we tried really hard to figure out what we could bring. And I remembered being called, Best in Faction was called by many people to Show Your Work podcast, because we brought people on and we made them explain their rationale. Why did you take this? Why did you do it? Why is it built this way? Why, we tried to understand their thought process and the work that they had done. So what we're doing is we're recording 40K games. And then we're taking that footage and we're speeding it up to 300%, or sometimes it's jumping through it. And then we're having either one person or both people that played the game do commentary on the game for you and also draw on the screen like football with telestration. Some of those battle reports are 25, 30 minutes long. Some of them are an hour long. But they are short form games of 40K that you can watch on YouTube. You'll understand what the lists are, how they were played, what happened in the game, the story of the game, and you'll also hear what lessons we learned and what we want to do differently next time. The feedback I've gotten so far is it's the best content we've made, but a very small number of people have watched it so far. So what I would like you guys to do is go to our YouTube and watch some of our battle reports. Some of our battle reports will be in the members only area. Some of them will be in the free area. Each week we'll just kind of feed them into both places. I would love feedback. I can change anything about it, but the only thing I can't do is I can't make it better if I don't know what's wrong. The only problem we can't solve is the one we don't know about. That's my favorite parenting thing. I tell my kids that all the time. The only thing we can't solve are the problems we don't know about. So I'm sure there's problems. I'm sure it's not perfect. It's definitely a passion project right now. It doesn't make money. It's just a thing we're doing because we believe it's the thing that the community needs. So please go watch that. We have about 4 of them in the queue ready to come out. So we'll be at about 10, probably in about a week. And we're going to add 2 to 3 a week. And I'm also working on getting people like Anthony to make them. So we have other people other than just the people that come to my home doing that. So that's the second thing you get in the members only area of YouTube, is you get access to all the videos. Right now, I think that there's 4 free and 2 in the members area, but there's more going up all the time. The third thing is about 40K Fight Club. So this is something that really frustrated people. I did not communicate my plan well when I was on Fight Club last week, and I'm really sorry. I think I did a big thing badly, and I regret that. Really sorry about that. So let me explain completely frankly. First of all, we make 2 kinds of content: podcast content and YouTube content. Anytime we make YouTube content that won't lose anything by becoming a podcast, it becomes a podcast. All of that podcast content is free, period, forever. We are going to make no premium podcast content at any time. There's not going to be any premium podcast feed. This could change 2 years from now. But for right now, we are not going to do a premium podcast feed. It's very expensive to manage. It's very time consuming to manage. I don't think it actually gives you guys, the listeners, any value. So I've asked Fight Club to take the entire show that they're doing, that they've been telling you is a part 1 and part 2 situation. I've asked them to take that entire thing and make it one show that is a podcast and a YouTube video. And it's going to be about 90 minutes long. That show will include everything they're doing today. If you don't want to be a member of the YouTube group, you aren't missing out on anything. Okay. Everything you had before is going to be in there. That said, you guys understand that the YouTube is a big part of how we're going to grow. It's not the only way. We'll be doing advertising and merchandising, and we're going to hold tournaments and all the stuff. But one of the main ways we're going to grow is the YouTube members area. And so, well, you guys know that that means that Fight Club needs to make something for that. So my Fight Club is going to do a thing. Doesn't have a name yet. Right now, we're calling it the Fight Club After Party. They're going to record their show, which will be very much, here's our presentation. Then after the show is done, they're going to immediately start chatting and BSing with the YouTube chat. They're going to answer questions from YouTube. They're going to talk about statistics. They're going to take hot takes that people have said, and they're going to use data to get rid of them. Why is this all on YouTube? Because there's going to be charts and graphics and pictures and things like that to make this like a really interactive thing. That entire show will be in the members only area. But it's more like when The Walking Dead was on and you had The Walking Dead. I think The Walking Dead is still on. I just don't watch it. But when The Walking Dead was on and they had like the After Hours Walking Dead thing where they had an hour of Chris Hardwick talking to people about making the show. That's more of the vibe we're looking for. We don't want to say to you, if you don't go to YouTube and you can't listen to all of Fight Club. That doesn't work for us. If you want to listen to Fight Club, you can get it through the podcast feed, and it's going to be free for as long as I'm in charge. Okay. I don't want people to pay for podcasts. I think the podcasts need to be free. That said, if you want additional Fight Club content that is video focused content, you need to be in our members only area to get that. So just to reiterate, we're going to make podcast content. We're going to make YouTube content. The only show that I think is borderline about this, every show that could be a podcast is a podcast right now, with one exception. We're not making Chasing the Narrative as a podcast. And the reason we're not doing that is because I have plans for Chasing the Narrative that make it need to be video. So I don't want to put Chasing the Narrative out as a podcast and then have to come back to you guys later when you say the podcast is really hard to follow because there's a bunch of video stuff happening. We're adding production value to it. If you guys watch the Michael Timpey interview where he explains how they made Outward Realms, there's pictures of Outward Realms going through it while we're talking. That's just the beginning. That's the tip of the iceberg for what we want to do with Chasing the Narrative. So that's the only show that is at all borderline. Everything else, if it can be a podcast, is a podcast. Otherwise, is a YouTube video, and a lot of our content is both. So let's wrap this up. You want to support us? Fine. Patreon group, patreon.com/bestintabletop. That's how you get to access to our Discord. It doesn't do anything else. We don't have a Facebook group anymore. We don't have a premium feed. There's nothing else that does. You want to watch all of our videos? There's 3 types of videos that are going to be in that members only area. We talked about all of them. Chasing the Narrative Part 2, Fight Club After Hour, or Fight Club After Party. Don't know what that's actually going to be called. And all of the bat reps. Lots of the bat reps will be behind the wall because the bat reps are shockingly more expensive to make than the podcasts. Shocking. Okay, that's how you're going to support us. All right. Everything that we make for a podcast is going out to everyone who subscribes. Okay. There is no premium feed. You do not need to be a Patreon. You do not need to be a YouTube member to get Fight Club. Fight Club is currently our most popular show in downloads. I'm not messing with that. It's a fantastic show. The guys are doing a great job. So that's what we have going on. Please go check out our battle reports. I really, really would appreciate that. And now what I'm going to do is tease some things just so that you guys can be appropriately excited. Okay. In a week and a half, the TNG guys, Tyler, Lucas, Nick, come into my house. Chuck's going to come. Mitch is going to come. We're going to have Hank and Zach. We're going to do a stream battle report focused RTT where you're going to know all these guys' lists. They're going to tell you all about their lists. And then you're going to watch them play each other while they literally commentate on their own games of playing each other and draw on the screen in short format. They're going to literally walk you through. We played our RTT game. Here's what happened. This is what I learned. This is what happened here. This is where I messed up. This is where he had a really clever idea. They're going to teach you all about their games. And we're going to have that out in just the next couple of weeks. I will warn you, some of that tournament will be in the members only area. But we're going to do it, and we're going to do it very soon. They're here, not this weekend, but next weekend. Also, Charity Hammer is scheduled. It is the final full week of June. I'm really bad with numbers, so I'm going to look at the calendar and tell you guys the numbers because I'm actually not bad with numbers, but for some reason with dates, I struggle with getting dates correctly. So Charity Hammer is going to start the morning of June 23rd, and it's going to end the afternoon of June 26th, Thursday to Sunday like it normally is. We're starting earlier on Thursday to get a bit more time. It's all the Charity Hammer stuff you've come to love, but that's what Charity Hammer is going to do. The weekend before that, June 18th and 19th, is going to be the Best in Tabletop Open. That's going to be a large tournament with fantastic terrain and wonderful people here in the Pacific Northwest for people that want to come out for that. I do not have a facility for that yet. We're working on it. As soon as we have a facility, we'll get on our everywhere, on our social media, on our Facebook, tickets, information, everything will go out. But if you're someone who needs to plan really far in advance, go to your calendar and mark those weekends. On the 23rd to the 26th, you're probably going to want to be in front of your computer a lot. And on the 18th and 19th, you might want to come to Seattle for a tournament. So those are the things we have going on. Next up in your feed will be 40K Fight Club for the week, where we're going to start getting some elf data. That's really exciting. Biff Pod will be this weekend. Biff Pod TNG will be this weekend. Lots of content coming out. We absolutely love what we're doing, and we can't do it without any of you guys. Thank you so much for listening to this little ramble about the network. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to cover things differently next time. Can't get better if I don't get your feedback. Thank you, everyone, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks.